Page 29, Catch a Falling Star. On page 28, to give you some little things about reading in seconds and warm-ups. I don't do the warm-ups. As I said before, you do the warm-ups if you want. But this, I want to talk a little bit about the top of page 28. We already talked about an interval of a second. It's where the notes are next to each other. It's 1, 2 seconds. Well, it's also known when you just go up one, you step up one or step down, it's called a step. You step up or down. If you go more than one note, that's called a skip, because you skipped a note. You skip up or down. And you can skip lots of notes, but you can only step next to it. We refer to that occasionally. Just be aware that steps and skips exist, so if you hear them, you kind of know what they're talking about. In music, a step is where if one note is on a line, the next note will be on a space. Or if a note is on a space, the next note will be on a line. Just keep in mind. As far as Catch a Falling Star, they're introducing another symbol. It's called a tie. A tie is that curved line between two notes. Well, let's just review all of these symbols that we've covered so far. It's important that you know and understand all these musical symbols in the music. It really is. But as I said before, you're going to see them so often, you use them so often, you'll get them. So again, we have the grand staff. The staff is those 5 lines. And it's connected with a big vertical, or not a big one, but a vertical line with a curly brace. That makes it a grand staff. At the beginning of each staff, there's a clef sign, a treble clef in the top and a bass clef in the bottom. Doesn't have to be that way, but it is in this piece. That's fine. They finally give a time signature, 4/4. You don't have to figure it out. And every so often you get these vertical lines. Every so often those are called measure lines or bar lines, because the space in between them is called a measure or a bar. It could be called either one. Now if you look, well, let's just go down to the bottom line, and in the middle at the beginning of the third measure over above the staff you see a 13 with a box. What a lot of times publishers will do is they'll number the measures for you, and what that is that's simply a measure number. It's indicating that's measure 13. If you were to count the measures from the first, that would be 13. They're just telling you that. They do that a lot in ensemble music when you have multiple people playing, because you might be playing along and then you stop for whatever reason, and then you want to start again. Well, you don't always want to start at the beginning. You want to start somewhere in the middle. And if they give measure numbers, sometimes a rehearsal something, but a measure number, then everybody can find that measure and everybody can start at that point, and it makes it easy to keep it coordinated. Here there is a duet part at the bottom of the page, so we have an ensemble. An ensemble is anytime you have more than one person playing or singing or whatever. So that you got measure numbers at the bottom too, so we could say, okay, start on measure 9, and we could both find our spot for measure 9, wherever that is, and that's where it is. Now at the end of the third line, you see the thin and thick bar line. That's the end of the piece symbol. That means it's over there. And if you look at the last 2 measures on the left hand, you got those 2 B's, and there's a curved line connecting them. That's the tie. A tie is where you tie 2 notes together. It simply means you play the first note and hang on to it for the length of both notes. You see, in music, there's a limit to how long a note can last. In 4/4 time, and the longest note you can have is one that's 4 beats long, and that's a whole note. That's just the circle. That's a whole note. It's the same as 4 quarter notes. Well, what happens if you want it to last longer than 4 beats? Well, you tie 2 notes together. The tie makes it last longer. And so at the bottom, that last B, that's going to be 8 counts long for that one. And that's how ties work. So the rule for tie is it can only be 2 notes, and it has to be the same note. You can't change notes or pitches or nothing. It's got to be the same one. That curved line is used for other things besides ties, and it gets confusing sometimes. So just keep in mind, if you see it between 2 notes and they're the same note, it's a tie. Now underneath Catch a Falling Star here, they're suggesting you transpose this to other keys, and they're giving you the other keys there. They give you a hand placement for the other keys where you're here, and that you play this piece here instead of here, because right now you're here. This is where the hands are. They want you to play here. You have to concentrate. You're thinking finger numbers when you do that. And I don't like that kind of transposing, so I don't teach it. So I skip that. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. Your teacher does it, whatever. But I skip that. Now, as far as Catch a Falling Star, let's make sure we got the notes. You're starting out with B's. You got a bunch of B's. That's that note. No, you know the name of that note already, I hope, because they're not putting the names of the notes in the music here. You're supposed to know them by now. And then you have a middle C. See the second measure, second note? That is a middle C. It's the same as the middle C we've had for the right hand, but now that's for the left hand. And then you have some D's, and then an E and some D's. So make sure you know the names of these notes. You're okay with them. And then the fingering, you're starting second finger, puts you here. And when the right hand comes in, you have a thumb here that puts it here, so you're here. So then you try and play the notes with the correct fingers. And the kicker here is don't look at the keyboard when you do this. Keep focused on the music. You need to know which finger's on which note. So what people will tend to do when they're starting is they'll see the note and they'll look down and play it. And they'll look up and they'll see another note and they'll look down and play it. You see the note, look down and play it. You got to get out of that. Don't look down to play the note. Once you have your hands in position, trust yourself to be able to play that note without looking. It's important you develop that. So once you can play the notes and the fingering correctly here, then we put in the counting. See, I do this just one thing at a time. So at the beginning, we're counting quarter notes, so each quarter note gets a count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The half notes each gets 2 counts because a half note's the same as 2 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go through the whole thing to make sure I can play it okay. I don't want to play it for you. I don't want to, here, I'll play it and then you listen and then you just copy me. I'm very much opposed to that style of teaching. I don't want you to copy me. I want you to read the music and figure it out on your own and then check what you've done with me to see if you've got it correct. That's my approach. It's a more difficult approach, but I'm a hard teacher, so it works out fine. Then we add the dynamics. Well, it starts out MF. That's moderately loud, right? Mezzo forte, moderately loud, sort of loud. You have to decide what sort of loud is. It's not loud, but it's on the loud side, whatever it is. And then when you get to the second line, in the second measure, you see the P. That stands for piano. That's Italian. It means soft. So those notes are soft. You have to decide what soft is. I don't know. It's soft. And then on measure 9, you get moderately loud again. You decide what that is. So try and do the dynamics. And then once you have all that worked out, then we can add the pedal. Always do the pedal last. Always learn a piece without pedal first so you can hear it, make the fingers do the work. And then when you add the pedal, you can hear the difference in the sound. So they've got pedal marking there in the second line. You see the second and third measures? It's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the note down first and then the pedal. The pedal lags behind the note. And then I'm going to play the other notes. And then after I play the note, the first quarter note there on measure 9, I lift the pedal up right after I play it. Right there. I suggest in this case, I mean that's the way it's written. I suggest in this case we alter that and you lift the pedal up when you lift up the D. In the right hand, when you lift that up, lift the pedal up with it. So it's this way. It's down for the B, and then you're here, and when I lift the D up, I lift the pedal up. So there's just a speck of silence before I go on. It's like taking a breath. And that's what we're doing. Because you ended one sentence with that, never let it fade away. And then I take a breath and I catch a falling star. It's another sentence. And so I like to have a little silence between the sentences. So that's what I'm suggesting you do here. So you learn it, get it all learned where you can play it, and then come back and play it with me slowly, and let's make sure you've got the right notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics, just the notes and the rhythms. We're going to go real slow. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tie. 2, 3, 4. Off. Now there is a duet part at the bottom for this, the teacher's part. I'd like to play that, and you play what you just played, but we're going to speed this up. This is supposed to be kind of a happy song, so we'll speed it up a little bit. I may not go full speed, but a little bit. Now to make this work out better, and it'll sound better, is I need you to go up on the keyboard an octave. An octave is letter to letter, C to C, D to D, E to E, A to A, whatever it is. So middle C is here. I just need you to pretend middle C goes up on the keyboard and is here at this C. So instead of being here, you're going to be here. And you play the whole thing up here. Just pretend. Up here. Play it all up here. So go ahead and put your hands on the keyboard up here. Foot's on the pedal, and I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.